First of all, I don't like firing people. It's not something I enjoy. But there's deselection and self-selection. And deselection is where I say to someone, look, it's clearly not working out. Self-selection is where pressure is applied to someone and then they realize very quickly that they don't fit and they come to you and they go, I don't fit anymore. And you go, okay, I'm glad that you can see that. Self-selection is obviously a lot easier. When I know someone doesn't fit, I start applying more pressure, culturally and performance-wise. Because here's the thing, the reality is if someone doesn't fit either from a cultural or performance perspective, and you know it, they know it too. They just may not be willing to admit it. Does this make sense? So it's up to us as leaders to help them find their calling. And if the longer we hold on to someone that isn't a performance fit or a cultural fit, the longer we're doing them a disservice as well as we're doing us a disservice. I think anytime you're in a relationship and it's not working and you don't end it, both of you are doing a disservice to each other because you're not allowing the opportunity for them to find what it is that they really want in a relationship, whether it be a business or a personal relationship. Does this make sense? I don't like this term, but it helps create a context. Human resources look at people as human assets, and the goal is to invest in an asset that produces a return. But if you can't get a rate of return that is where it should be within the first 3 months, you don't have the right talent in the building, typically. So it's really important at this point for us to learn how to drive the conversation without creating an event that is negative for either party. So the way that I go about it is the way I'd start the process is I have this conversation. And I have this conversation every month with all of my team members. How do you feel you're going? And that opens up the conversation for, oh, I feel like I'm doing well. Do you feel like right now we're seeing the best of what you can do? And that conversation by nature should give them the opportunity to reveal whether or not they're doing their best or not doing their best, and whether or not they fit or whether or not they don't fit. But what I find in most cases when you have that conversation with the right intent, it will end very well. But sometimes people will fight for their job because they're attached to the paycheck and they don't care about their culture or your culture. They don't care about their performance or your performance, and they'll fight for the job. And that's where you have to be a little bit firmer and just basically say, look, the reality is this isn't just working out. You know, they say you've got to have a thick skin in business, and it's not about having a thick skin, it's about learning how to create a detached empathy and realizing that if you have someone that isn't performing in your environment right now, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. They may have their own challenges that are presenting. It's just, does this person fit in this environment at a performance and a culture level, or do they not fit in this environment? Because everybody fits somewhere, it's just they may not fit with you. So I think the best thing that we can do when we realize someone doesn't fit is two things. Number one, apply pressure and start having conversations with them to keep the communications going and move it in the direction where it makes most sense to go. So my view of it is basically, if I don't let this person go, I'm actually setting them up to fail because they can't do their job, but I'm also holding them back from finding where they belong. And even if they don't understand that and they might have tantrums, and that's just okay, because I know at some point hindsight will kick in and they'll go, I'm so glad Kerwin pushed me to go, because if it wasn't for that, and then they will feel more comfortable about going to work every day. They won't feel the stress and the pressure and everything else, and then you won't feel the resentment.